I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rocket would go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah they do. I'm on my way to you. I'm just a man on his way to the moon, wishing the rocket would go faster. All the stars remind me of you, yeah they do. I'm on my way to
Yeah, so anyway, um, so I was telling that horse, he needed to leave the turtle alone, but he just wasn't listening. I was like, horse, look, man, leave the turtle alone, or I swear he's gonna do something. And yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you guys for joining us on this awesome Thursday morning. Yeah, we got some awesomeness going on. I am Vari the man.
And I am Jenny.
Alicia, the producer.
And Dab and Dave with the weather.
Oh shit, yeah. So, man, I woke up this morning actually expecting a little bit of precipitation, but I see that.
It all moved out last night. It was a little wet last night, but it's actually pretty nice out right now, except that the word of the day today, as we'll discuss later, is windy.
It was raining here this morning still in the cities.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm happy it wasn't frosty because that shit sucks. I had to take my kids to school this morning because they're running late and shit, but that's usual. Is that loud? Do you guys, is that overpowering? Very good.
That's good.
Okay, perfect, sweet. All right, so we got some articles for you guys today. Some really interesting news. I think maybe we can start out with today's Veterans Day. So maybe we should start out with the letter from Dab and Dave, who has an awesome update from.
Let me pull that up. So this is from Normal. It's popped up in my email today. Oops, almost hit the leave button. Not that one. But you do need to make me co-host though.
Oh wait.
Screen sharing. Oh, you're sharing the music. That's why. So this might stop the music.
Nope. Go ahead.
All right. Here we go. So hopefully this will work out without any issues with audio. But as like I said, this popped up in my email today, and considering today's Veterans Day, I think this is a good letter to pass on to people, and we will be putting it in the chat because there are links in here how to get a hold of your representative. So veterans consume marijuana legally every day, and here's how you can change that. 22%, which I think is a very estimated low number as far as I'm concerned, of veterans consume cannabis to treat a mental or physical condition, according to the American Legion. Yet these individuals who are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for our nation are viewed as criminals by the same federal government whose uniform they wore. Despite medical marijuana programs being passed or enacted in a supermajority of states, federal policy currently prohibits VA-affiliated doctors from even recommending medical cannabis to veterans in those states where such use is legal, thus forcing military veterans to seek the advice of a private, out-of-network physician, which can be very expensive. This bipartisan, bicameral legislation would expand and facilitate medical cannabis access to military veterans suffering from chronic pain, PTSD, and other such serious medical conditions, as well as fund research into the health effects of cannabis for common service-related conditions. According to the nationwide survey data compiled by the group Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, 75% of military veterans would be interested in using cannabis or cannabinoid products as a treatment option if it were available. For those veterans that do acknowledge using medical cannabis, they most often report using it to mitigate their post-traumatic stress, anxiety, and chronic pain. Some veterans also report using it as a substitute for alcohol or other illicit drugs. Many chronic pain patients who begin using medical cannabis greatly decrease or even eliminate their use of opioids and other prescription drugs. I can attest to that. These brave men and women put the uniform up to defend this nation's freedoms. It is the height of hypocrisy that they return as civilians only to be labeled criminals and be denied healthcare options that they need. In this country, we know that freedom and security are not guaranteed. When it comes to our democracy, we cannot treat it as a spectator sport. So please, this Veterans Day, take a moment to participate in our democratic experiment and tell your federal lawmakers that the time to equip our veterans with the option of legal medical cannabis is now. And as we said, so it's about the Veterans Medical Marijuana Safe Harbor Act that is they're trying to put through. So if you click on these links, it will take you step by step how to get a hold of your lawmakers. Usually with normal, the letter is already there for you. You just got to fill in your name and your address or whatever and send it to them. So
Right on.
yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if I can snag those links. I'll drop them in the comments a little bit.
You know what? I'm gonna I'll send them to your messenger. Does that work?
Yep, perfect. And I'll go ahead and drop those in the comments for you guys. So yeah, we also got a story out of America. This is coming out of America. So the government, let me see if I can share this here. All right, Facebook, that's the one. There we go. All right. So it's time to end the aura of illegality for drugs, top federal health official says. So the government bears some responsibility in perpetuating stigmas against drug addiction that have created barriers to treatment, the head of the nation's top drug research agency says. In an op-ed published by the Association of American Medical Colleges, colleagues, is it colleges? Colleges, I think that's right. AAMC last week, National Institute on Drug Abuse Director Nora Volkow shared a personal story about the stigmatization of drug use and the narrative consequences that's had for people suffering from substance misuse disorder. Part of that stigma comes from the enforcement of punitive drug policies, including some that remain in effect, she said. Volkow said that stigma remains one of the biggest obstacles to confronting America's current drug crisis. Government policies, including criminal justice measures, often reflect and contribute to stigma. When we penalize people who use drugs because of the addiction, we suggest that their use is a character flaw rather than a medical condition. And when we incarcerate addicted individuals, we decrease their access to treatment and exacerbate the personal and societal consequences of their substance use, which is, I 100% agree with that. The official had made similar remarks in the past, arguing that there's an apparent need to decriminalize drug possession and emphasizing that the drug war has disproportionately impacted communities of color. The aura of illegality affects the treatment of people with addiction. For example, some treatment programs expel patients for positive urine samples as if relapse were not simply a known symptom of the disorder and a clinical signal to adjust the treatment approach, but instead actual wrongdoing, which always blew my mind. Come to treatment, if you're dirty, we're gonna kick you out. And it's like,
right, like, damn, can I make a mistake? Like, people can't make mistakes or something? Yeah, they file. Yeah, that's fine.
Stigma has also slowed the adoption of harm reduction programs like syringe exchange and access to anti-overdose medication, naloxone, out of moralistic as well as factually incorrect belief that those measures encourage illegal drug use, she said. Volkow similarly talked about how decriminalization coupled with increased treatment would represent a superior alternative to incarcerating people over drugs in a recent interview with Marijuana Moment. We need a large-scale social intervention to change public attitudes towards addiction and the people who have the disease, she wrote in a new op-ed. Besides ensuring proper training and the resources needed to help patients with substance abuse disorders, we need to seriously reconsider policies, not only laws, but regulations and practices in healthcare and other settings that promote viewing substance use as wrongdoing. I actually did click around in this article, and if you click on the Twitter thing here, and if you click on this Twitter thing here, it'll actually take you to a different article where it's like more in detail what she talks about. So if you want to do that, I'll drop that link. In other recent remarks, Volkow argued that there is no need for further research to prove that criminalization of drugs has disproportionately impacted communities of color. The official has been pressed on issues related to marijuana prohibition and psychedelics. She acknowledged in a podcast interview released in August that cannabis legalization has not led to increased use, despite her prior fears. And she spoke about the therapeutic potentials of certain psychedelics that have long been deemed dangerous under federal law. And when it comes to marijuana research, she said scientists should be allowed to investigate products from state legal dispensaries instead of using only government-grown huff. NIDA, which is the National Institute for Drug Addiction, separately submitted a report to congressional lawmakers emphasizing that the Schedule I status of controlled substances like cannabis is preventing and discouraging research into the potential risks and benefits. It also said that current restrictions that block scientists from studying the actual cannabinoid products that consumers can purchase at dispensaries is impeding research to an extent that constitutes a public health concern, which is exactly what I was saying the other day. It doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense to be studying weed and be like, we're going to study
The
this.
worst weed possible. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, let's see if it works. Nope, it don't work. Well, no wonder it don't work, because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Breaking the stigma.
They have to study what is available to the general public. They can't just take some shit that nobody's gonna want anyway and use their studies off of that. It's pathetic.
Well,
That just grinds my gears.
Yeah.
Ooh, candy.
Well, you think about it too. It's like, so one of the arguments that I've heard from opponents was that, the increase of quality of cannabis and the increase of THC levels in the products and stuff is one of their biggest concerns. Like, oh, people might be able to overdose now. Well, it would make sense for the government to do studies with those products, which are in market right now and that are consuming.
Right. I'll tell you what, nobody's going to overdose on that huff.
Yeah, hell no. Nope. Never, ever, ever.
If someone would, if anything, they gonna be crying with a migraine or just sick to their stomach, if anything.
Yeah, that's crazy. They said wild hemp, like not even wild weed, but this hemp. Ugh. All right. Anyways, so I do got another story, but Dave, do you want to give us an update for what we got coming on in the?
You can't even spit it out. It's such a terrible word. Yeah, hope you guys got your shovels ready. So your weather's brought to you as usual by windy.com. If you need to know what's going on outside, just click on windy.com. And if you actually get the premium for $26 a year, you can get all the good stuff that goes along with it. So we're going to start out with the radar, live radar. As you can see, it looks like everything's out of here, but it's just beginning the sit and spin phase. And this is going to wrap around as the day goes on. Because if we look at, go to our quality 3D view and zoom in here, if it'll actually do it, there we go. And we look at the pressure, you'll see that low pressure system is just sitting right on top of us right now. We zoom in. Zoom more, a little more. Come on, zoom in there. So anyway, you'll see here the pressure Sorry, everything's a little slow right now.
Pressure.
How about pressure? Too much pressure.
Too
No, I
much
can't.
pressure.
There we go. There we go. So, as you can see, that thing is just sitting on top of us, and it is getting ready to dump. And we do have some blizzard warnings out in South Dakota and a winter storm warning for a big chunk of western Minnesota. So if you're out in the Wilmer area, we're gonna go back 2D here. This is too slow. So if you're out, not that close, out in Montevideo, Morris, Wilmer, Wabasso, you know, and as we look at the weather warnings, it covers a pretty good swath of that area. And they are calling for 1 to 3. Okay, they just updated. Now we're out to 2 to 4 inches possible. And the biggest thing that we got to worry about is going to be the wind. Because if we look at the wind for tomorrow morning, we're talking gusts up and well into the 50s in the bottom quarter of the state and just across the border. And this is why the blizzard warning is in effect for South Dakota. This could affect some of us in southern Minnesota, but you know, it's going to be an icky one. I mean, temperatures are going to be so close. I mean, we're going to be 29 over here, but like, you know, look at the difference, 34 and then 40 miles south, and it's, you know, it's that much colder. So possibly that mix once we get towards the cities, and you know, once we get into the main part of the day, that's when everything's going to kind of start coming together. Now, like I said, this is all there's some places up north that are calling for up to 6 inches. This stuff won't stick around. The temperatures are going to be bumping back up into the 50s on, I believe it's Tuesday or Wednesday, and then kind of level off into the 40s. So it's going to be this one won't stick around. But Saturday, it does look like there is another round that could hit northern Minnesota up around Uvalde by, you know, 7 p.m. Saturday night. You're looking at close to an inch in a 3-hour period. So yeah, you might have to get the shovel out for that. But otherwise, today's going to be pretty, you know, I don't know what you guys are seeing. I guess you're a little partly cloudy. We still got some of the sun coming. The clouds are going to move in later today as the temperature starts dropping, and the winds are just going to howl for most of the day. I mean, it's a good day to, I'd say it's a good day to go fly a kite, but it's actually almost too windy to fly a kite. You might just fly away. So yeah, temperatures are going to be in the mid 30s. Maybe, I don't think we're going to see 40 because this wind is now shift out of the northwest. So it's just going to start cooling down until tomorrow. But, you know, it's Minnesota. It's November. I mean, this isn't anything out of the norm. This is really right on time, actually. This is our first, usually we get our first snowfall right about now. And like I said, it's not going to last. Well, ground isn't frozen yet. Like, and not even sure what what day it's going to be. I think, like I said, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday we're going to be back up 52, 55 some places. So this snow ain't got a chance. And then, like I said, level off into the 40s for the rest of the week after that. So
still got a chance to get the other half of the yard.
Well, yeah, it just might be a little wet, but you know, yeah, it'll have melted snow on it. So yeah, I'd say you got a pretty good chance on Tuesday.
Right. Yes.
Hey, Dave, challenge accepted. If I can find a motherfucking kite, I'm gonna go fly a kite today.
All right, you do that.
I just have to find where to get a kite from.
Try Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree.
If anybody watching knows where I can go and get a kite physically today from, not order online, because that's not going to come today.
Or Five Below.
Comments.
Probably Five Below too.
Speaking of everybody, hey, shout out to the Talkers Dens. I see is hitting us up on YouTube. We got any other viewers today?
Hey, Facebook user, how's it going?
What up?
We got Sadrina on, Jessica Defoe.
What up, Jessica? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are having an awesome morning. Facebook user, What up? What up? As usual, shout out Facebook user. We need to get you a trophy. Definitely need some day one.
Top fan.
Day one.
That's the top fan of the week.
I have one. I just have to think of where I put it.
Right. All right. Well, I do got one little last article before we hop out of here. This one is out of Florida. So this is out of your area, Leash. Where you at down here? So Florida politics has this breaking story. Nikki Fried calls on Joe Ladapo to give Black farmers a break and then slams them. So 4 years into Florida's medical marijuana program, no Black farmers have obtained grow licenses, and now the state has jacked up fees. This is led by Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried. It might be Freed. I feel like it might be Freed, but it says Fried in my eyes, so I'm gonna say Fried. So I'm sorry, Nikki, if you end up somehow watching this and I am just butchering your name. Let me know. Send me a message. To employ Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo to reconsider the recent fee change, she says, are discriminatory. At the same time, the Democratic candidate for governor slammed Ladapo, saying he should not be Florida's Surgeon General. Finally, even after Fried pointed out that she was asking Ladapo for help to help Florida's Black farmers and not her, she also noted she does not expect to hear back from Ladapo's Department of Health on her inquiry about the new rules because the department was not responding to previous inquiries. Fried's news conference Tuesday afternoon in Orlando illustrated a deep partisan divide where the state's top Democratic official, albeit a challenger to a consistent critic of Governor Ron DeSantis, can appeal to the state's top doctor on behalf of farmers, call for his ouster, and then lament that his department hasn't been responsive to her, all in less than 20 minutes. Ladapo has stated his position on medical marijuana rule of fee October 14th in a tweet following Fried's original criticism, noting that the rulemaking and fees are locked by statute and the department was following statutory requirements. He also contended that the department prioritized licensings for Black farmers. He also criticized Fried, noting that she is a former medical marijuana lobbyist. On Tuesday, Fried made her case along with Democratic Rep. Geraldine Thompson of Orlando and Black farmers and advocates the state's embattled health department head should re-examine Black farmers' opportunities in the state's medical marijuana licensing program. He's not helping me out. He's helping out our minority farmers. This is not about me. Certainly he should be doing what's right for the community, Fried said. In the same respect, I do not believe he's qualified to be holding Surgeon General. She highlighted some of the controversies Ladapo has faced, including his encounter last week with Democratic Tina Polsky, a breast cancer patient who asked Ladapo to put on a mask and then threw him out of her office when he wouldn't. That'd be funny if they wrote that. When he wouldn't even. Even before then, Fried has been among the most outspoken of many Democrats, decrying Ladapo's policy statements, downplaying the efficiency of mass vaccination reduces the spread of COVID-19. So it just kind of goes back and forth. Let's get to the good stuff here. Okay, so Florida now has issued 22 grow licenses, but still none to Black farmers, which Fried called a travesty. Last week, an emergency rule, the Department of Health finally released the application for farmers who are among the lawsuit's plaintiffs to apply for the set-aside license. So they had a lawsuit that they had, and they set one license aside for Black farmers, but the application fee was raised from $60,000 to $146,000.
So you can apply for it, but you better have that bread.
Yeah, so they finally opened it up for that one license for people to apply, and then raised the license fee from $60,000 to $146,000. So Fried said, I'm asking the Department of Health to revisit this emergency rule that has taken them 5 years to put out and now go back and fix this. If anything, the fee should be decreased or minimized to almost zero. which we have seen in other states across the country that have recognized that we have a social justice situation. I'm asking again our new Surgeon General, who is new to the state of Florida, to go back and revisit the rule and make sure that we are creating an opportunity for these Black farmers to participate.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it just kind of goes, I don't know, they talk a lot of shit about each other. Let's see, said more stuff. I'm here today to say that we need to finish the job that we started when I was in Senate and make sure that the Pitford plaintiffs have an opportunity to participate in this growing industry in the state of Florida. We want minority farmers to have the opportunity to own the farms, to provide the jobs, and to benefit from growing industries that is cannabis here in the state of Florida. So we're asking our Surgeon General to rethink this requirement. Last week, Fried first raised the issue regarding the new rule and a high fee with a letter to various state officials complaining about it. She also asked the Department of Health for an explanation on the new fee. That Tuesday, she has not received a response, and we probably don't anticipate one, considering we still have a numerous amount of public record requests from the Department of Health that they do not fulfill.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, fucking Florida. Damn.
They're weird.
Yeah, they just getting worse and worse by the minute.
I think it's something to do in the water. By
Something.
the oceans, whatever. California's going crazy. Florida's going crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's. I hope they get the lawsuit or something, because man.
Yeah, it's rough, but you know, it's like things like this that we can look at, and like thankfully our law hasn't been crafted yet, because there's stuff in the last bill that might have needed some changing around. But like we can look at like stuff that's currently going on and be like, okay, what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen here? You know, that we have protection for not just like the BIPOC community, but like for the craft growers, for like the mom and pop businesses, the small dispensaries that'll be popping up once it's legal here, for the small laboratories that'll be doing the extractions and all that shit, to make sure that we're not
Extract labs.
yeah, we're not getting taken over by huge corporation. Anyways, that's what we got for the day. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm gonna leave you guys on this quote.
Events, we got to let them know what's going on.
Oh, we got about 1 minute.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, so just stay tuned. Yeah. More events. Also, maybe we'll drop them on the page today, so check that out. I'm gonna leave you guys with this.
There you go.
Great difficulties may be surmounted by patience and perseverance. So don't be discouraged. It's often the last key in the bunch that opens the lock. Love you guys, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace. Anyway, all right. So about that last article, yeah, I think it's fucked up, and we definitely need to make sure that shit doesn't happen here. Because if it does happen here, I think just like any of the articles that we talked about over the last month, any of that shit